What's up guys? Today I've got a highly requested video ever since I actually showed this site in a previous video, and people noticed this other options feature. People have been asking me for a tutorial on how to build this feature. So today we're going to do that. This is that tutorial. And this feature is what I like to call a related products block. What do I mean by a block? Well, it goes inside of the product information section. So that's everything to the right of your main product image. These are your blocks. We can click add block, and as you can see, I have a custom one with a lightning bolt called related products. Okay, we can add that, and well, I've already added it to this page. And as you can see, I've changed the heading to other colors, and we showcase the other colors of this bottle. It's really useful because we can drag it around, and of course these products are connected using Metafields, which I'll also show you how to set up to link products together using the product reference Metafield this time actually. So there's actually a couple uses for this as I see it. The most common one I think will actually be these other colors, and this is a very common situation when you've split your product into separate colors instead of using color variants and just one product. This is a valid strategy, right? So some stores, they want to have more products, or for SEO reasons, they want to have a separate product page for each color, and that's fine. The most high profile site that I know of that does this is Gymshark, and as you can see, they've got almost the same kind of thing, this related products block, which links to the other products on their site, the other colors that is, but these are not actually color swatches. These are completely separate products. The second use that I see for this is when products are simply related, then you would not have the heading other colors. You would have like related products, or complete the set, for example. So this is matcha tea. It's made in a bowl and you have to whisk it to make the drink. So we write complete the set and we upsell these products to our customer. So I think this is going to be a really interesting video for you if you're learning Shopify development, because I think this is a common task that you'll be asked to do if you want to start freelancing or something. And you'll be using the product reference Metafield, and also you'll be creating a custom block. But if you're also a store owner or you have no coding experience, you just want to implement this feature to your store, don't worry about it. It's going to be really easy to follow this video. You don't need any experience, and you can copy and paste as much as you want from my code. You don't actually have to follow the video. As usual in my videos, you can grab all the code from my website. So go to ed.codes and then click on tutorials and then find this tutorial. Lastly, before we get started with the tutorial, I also want to let you know that I'm trying something a little bit new with this video. It's kind of an experiment. I've actually spent a little bit more time and more effort building an advanced version of this feature, and I'll be selling that as a downloadable product. So this is going to be really easy to install. You simply copy and paste it into your store, and it's got a few extra features, basically more design settings in the sidebar. We can change the heading, we can change the column width, we can change the way that the image fits. We can show a secondary product image when you hover over the image, which you can actually see in action on this store. And my favorite feature of this is probably the tooltip. So when you hover over, you get to see the product title, and you can customize the design of that tooltip as well. And you can also add some extra informational text below the product like that. And you can change the design of that text as well. So yeah, this is for sale on my Gumroad profile, edcodes.gumroad.com. The link will of course be in the description. It's 20 bucks. I think that's pretty affordable. Like if you were to get an app for this feature, then that app would usually be like $5 or $10 a month. And in a few months you would already have paid that much. Whereas this is buy it once and you have it for life. You also have unlimited downloads of this product for life. So if I update this product, which I will be doing to add extra features to it, you can re-download that for free. Okay, so I hope that didn't sound too much like a sales pitch. The thing is that I'm really trying to create a win-win for you guys and for me, because like right now, the Shopify ecosystem is completely reliant on apps, right? And I think that there is definitely a space for these little code add-ons that you would add to your store, and they're lightweight, they seamlessly integrate into your store, into your theme editor, right? They don't slow down your store like apps. You don't have to pay for them monthly. you know. And yeah, if you're using a theme like Dawn and it just doesn't have a feature that you need, then I'm going to try and build those features. You can request a feature from me. I might build that. You get that feature really affordably, literally like 10 or 20 times cheaper than if you were to hire a developer for custom development to build that. And I get to transition from freelancing to being able to sell my code as a digital product and help lots of people at the same time. So that's what I'm really hoping for. So yeah, with all that said, let's get started with the tutorial for the basic version, and you will find the link to the pro version in the description. Okay, so I'm going to be looking at my blog post here just to kind of keep me on track. So let's start with creating the Metafield. If you don't know what Metafields are at all, if this is your first time seeing Metafields, then it's basically extra fields that you have on the product page, for example, in the admin. So here we have the title field, here we have the description field, right? But we can now also add our own fields at the bottom here. For example, I have this material field and it lets me select a material. These are fields that you can set up yourself. And so that's what we're going to be doing for the related products also. We want a field that says related products, and that lets us select from a list of products. So let's do that. From any page on your Shopify store, you're going to click on settings, and then you're going to go to Metafields. We're setting up a product Metafield. So you're going to go into products. These are the various Metafields that I've already created for other tutorials. You might have a blank page here, and that's perfectly okay. Or you might have something relating to apps. Either way, we're going to click add definition to create a Metafield. And we're going to call this related products. Okay. Next, the namespace and key. This is kind of like an ID. This is something that you use in the code to get the value of this Metafield. So if you're going to be copy and pasting my code, then you want to give it the same name as I've given it. So mine is product_info.related_products. And you can grab that from here as well. So in the description, you don't have to put anything, but I recommend just putting a link to this YouTube video, for example, just so that the next time, you know what this is for, you know what's going on. Just call it related products and then put the link to this video or something like that so that you remember how to use it. This, you can ignore this because this is like for app development, so just leave it blank. And finally, the most important part is you're going to select a content type, and the content type is going to be product. And even if you're going to be using just one related product, you still want to select a list of products because we want the ability to select a list of products, select more than one product in this related products block. And yeah, that's pretty much all we need to do. So you're going to hit save. And now you have this related products Metafield. Now when you go to a product page like this water bottle page, you refresh, and you should see that a new Metafield has appeared at the bottom of the page. Here's my related products Metafield. When I click into it, I will now see this button saying select products, and I can select from any product. Okay, so what are the related products for this? I'm looking at this blue water bottle, right? I also have a green and a gray water bottle. So I want to add those options as the related products, or in my case this is going to be the other colors. I'm going to give it the title of other colors. If you want, you can also add the product itself, and that will work, like if you want to show all the options in that related products block, but I think it makes sense to leave that out. And now I'll save, and now those products are linked together. So your next question might be, do I have to do this for every product? Especially if you have a large store. If you have thousands of products, you're probably thinking, do I really have to do this for every product? Going into it, into the product admin page, adding those Metafields one by one? Well, you might want to check out another video that I did, which is called 3 apps to bulk edit Metafields. Unfortunately, at this point, apps is the only solution. There used to be kind of a hacky way to do it, which I showed in this video, how to bulk edit Metafields. You can try watching that video, but I think this method does not work anymore since Shopify's latest update. So yeah, this one will show you a few apps that will let you bulk edit Metafields really quickly. But for now, let's move on with the tutorial. So okay, to summarize this part, you basically have to define your Metafield. You define the Metafield, then you fill out the Metafields, and if you have a large inventory, then go ahead, watch this video and find the most suitable method for you to bulk edit your Metafields. Now we move on to the next part, which is adding the code that will actually output these Metafields to the page. At this point, the best way of working is to open up two tabs. The first tab will be the customize screen on the theme that you're working on. So I'm actually working on this one, Dawn related product block tutorial. It's an unpublished theme, but for you it'll probably be this one. So hit customize while holding control or command to open that up in a new tab. And I'm also going to open up the code editor by clicking on actions and then edit code. Shopify has recently updated the interface of this code editor. I really like this. It has this button here so you can make it full screen, which is a bit easier to work with. And as you can see, the file we're going to work with, I already have it open. It's main product.liquid, but it won't be open for you. Just search for it, main-product.liquid. This will be the same file in all the free Shopify 2.0 themes. And once you have this file open, you're going to search for the schema. Okay, the schema will be at the end of the file. It won't be this one. We're actually looking for this schema in curly braces and percentage signs. This is usually at the end of a section liquid file. And this defines what settings are going to be in the sidebar here inside the theme customizer. So inside the theme customizer, what you want to do is navigate to a product page, because if you're not familiar with Shopify, this sidebar changes depending on which page you're on, right? So we're going to navigate to a product, and here we can see the product information section, and this section has blocks inside of it, and what we're going to be doing is adding blocks to it. So where was I now? The settings schema, right? The settings schema defines what shows up here. So when we click add block, everything that's available here is listed inside of the schema. So these are our blocks, and we have type app, type text, type title, price, quantity selector, and these are also all the blocks that we have available here: price, text, title, quantity selector, right? And you can't see all of them under the add block button here because some of them have already been added once and you can't add them multiple times, like this quantity selector and the buy buttons. Anyway, we're going to be adding our own, and you can do this by going directly under this blocks list, and we're going to add it as the first one in the list because there's no difference what order they're added in. So we're going to be adding our own block, and I've already written the code for it. You can copy and paste, but basically the type is going to be related products. It's a new type. The name is going to be related products. I've added this lightning bolt emoji. It's just a basic emoji. You can copy paste and add emojis into Shopify here, which is pretty cool. And then it's got a few settings like the actual heading text, the heading font size, color, and then the border that's going to be around the related product image. Just copy all of that, including the little comma at the end. Copy. It's going to be like this. You're going to make a space here and paste in. Now, if it pastes in a little bit wrong, we're just going to fix that up. It's not going to cause an error or anything if you save it this way, but it's going to be harder to read, a little bit more confusing than if it was nice and clean. So we're going to put your cursor here, hold shift, and then click on a line that's like not indented properly. And we're just going to hit tab a couple of times so that this bottom curly brace is in line with like all of the other blocks curly braces. And yeah, that looks right to me. That's more readable. Hit save. That's all we needed to do for the settings schema. So now when we refresh, you should see that we have a new block available. We have the related products block available when we click add block. So now you can add this to the page and you can drag it where you want, but you'll notice that nothing shows up. That's because we've only added it to the sidebar, to the schema, right? But we haven't added the code, the actual HTML that will be output when we add this to the schema, right? So just save for now, save with this block added. And we're gonna do the next part, the main code, the code that is output. So let's go back into our main product.liquid file, and you're gonna look for the word case. You're gonna search for the word case because there's this case statement, or this is kind of like an if you're familiar with an if statement, but case is like when you have lots of ifs. And so the way it's written is case block.type. So in the case of the block type being, app, text, title, in each case, what do we want to output, right? So we have this when, and then we have under it what we want to output. So we're going to do the same thing. So we have when related products, copy all of this. I'm going to go through it with you once we paste that in. Put your cursor approximately where you want it to be, paste. Again, if it pastes in a little bit weird, we're going to highlight all of that we just pasted in, and then we're going to tab in until it's like when, and then one level lower, so like it's inside of this when, and you're going to hit save. Okay, and now you're actually done. I'm going to explain the code right after this, but if you go back to your theme customizer and you refresh, if you have added the block to your page, then you will now see your products appearing here. If you don't see anything appearing at all, then check that your products are actually in stock and available, not a draft or anything like that, and that you've set up the Metafield and you've added those products to your main product. But now that's really all you need to do. The last thing I want to explain before I get to explaining the code is that you might want to add this only to some products, not across the entire store, but only specific products that have this related products thing, or only specific products that have multiple colors, for example. And to do that, you're going to want to use templates. So you can create a template, right? And we're going to call this a product with colors, for example. And then you can apply that template to each of your products that you want to use that template right here, right? So as you can see, I have a template called backpacks and a template for the matcha tea product as well. If you don't really know how to use templates, if you don't really get what I'm talking about right now, I've already made a very in-depth video about templates and I've showed you lots of examples. So I definitely recommend watching this video if you want to know how you can add this across different types of products. And yeah, that's all if you just want to get this to work. Now, next I am just going to explain what is going on in the actual code here. Okay, so I'm not sure how many people are actually interested in the code here. Please let me know in the comments if you want me to go more in depth in code in future videos. But I'm just going to run through kind of what I think is the interesting parts of this code. Starting from the top, we have when related products, right? So when this block is selected, here's what we're going to output. And before we output anything, we have one check, and we're checking if the product actually has the Metafields filled out, because for products that don't have any related products added to the Metafields, we don't want to output anything at all, right? So just if and end if at the very end. So we're not going to output anything for this block if the Metafields aren't filled out. Next, we just assign a variable to the related products array. So the related products that we add here, it's a list, right? So it's an array. The array is accessed like this through the product.metafields namespace key and then .value. That's how we get the array, and we can assign that to the variable related products just so that we don't have to write that out each time. And next we just have another check. We're going to loop through all of these related products, and we're going to check that at least one of those products is available, because if both of these products were out of stock, then we wouldn't actually have anything to show here, right? And so there would be no point in outputting just the heading and not any product at all. So we're just doing a check where we loop through them, and if at least one of them is available, we'll assign this has one product variable to be true, and then we can use that variable to wrap the rest of our code. So it's basically if it has at least one product available, then we're going to output something, right? So that's all this top section is doing, really. We check that the Metafields are filled, and we check that those products are available, and then we go ahead and we output the HTML that we want. So starting from the top again, this is the heading. We can output the heading text by doing block.settings.heading. And if you're new to the schema, this is using the ID that we set inside of this schema. So this is the ID field, and this says heading. So you're in blocks, so you go block.settings and then dot any of these IDs. So heading font size, heading color, we're using those as well here and here for our inline styles for the heading. Next, we just have a div to wrap all of the products. We just give it a block ID so that it's unique. And then we have the actual loop. So for product in related products, if it's available, we output a link, and inside of that link is the product image. And there's nothing really that interesting going on here. For each product, we can of course grab the URL, we can grab the title or whatever we want. For that product, we can grab the images. Just doing this to grab the first image. You can also write featured image like this. You might find this a little bit interesting, but this is the title attribute that we can use in any link. And what it actually does is sets up a really easy tooltip. So when you hover here, this gray tooltip that shows up is thanks to that title attribute. So in that title attribute, we would output the product title. But if you had, say, another metafield for that product's color, then you could do something like that, right? You could output just the color instead of the entire title. Namespace would be whatever you named your metafield. So yeah, that's something else you could do and output in that tooltip. Of course, if you watched the first part of this video, I demonstrated a more advanced tooltip, one that I actually styled with CSS. Looks a lot nicer. That's in the Pro version, which is available on Gumroad. And then down here, we have the styles, the CSS, and there's nothing special going on here either. Usually you would put styles in a separate file, but for the ease of use of people copy and pasting this, I just put it all together. And since it's not that long, right? Here, just some basic styles, but the main thing that you might want to change is the width of each column. So each column is just 1/4 width right now, 1/4, 1/4. So 4 of these would fit in here, but you can make it so that 3 of these fit in here. So each one becomes larger, or that 2 of these fit. So you would do that by changing to like 33% for 1/3 column, 50% for just 2 columns. But in that case, these both would be quite large, and I think that'd be a bit too big. So I prefer, keeping them at like a 1/4 column. And yeah, that's it. Here we're also outputting the border color inside of the CSS. So that's it for this tutorial, guys. I hope it was helpful. If you like more coding tutorials like this, then check out the Shopify Liquid Coding playlist. Also, the next tutorial will be on a very similar feature, something that people have asked for a lot, which is the complete the look, right? So we have these like this color of shorts, and then we have the matching products for that. So it's almost the same thing, except instead of this being a block, it's a section, and each of these is actually a block. So yeah, if you don't want to miss this tutorial, then make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell as well, so that you're notified. Okay, now the pro version of the code for this tutorial is on my Gumroad, edcodes.gumroad.com. I'm going to be doing this a lot more, so feel free to request these Shopify add-ons if there's something you want me to build. Just a reminder, the pro version has like an advanced tooltip. It has the secondary image on hover. It's got a slider for column width. It's got a few more design settings for the text. And lastly, guys, if you're still watching this, then you might be interested in a free community that I've set up on Discord. This is just to chat about code customizations for Shopify, about themes, anything. This is for developers, for store owners. It's for everyone. And you can also get in touch with me here if you want to. And you'll find the invite link in my about page on my YouTube channel. So yeah, guys, that's all for today. As usual, let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll see you next time.